Hello and welcome. We're back again, the Sheboygan Concert Association, getting ready to celebrate our 92nd season at the Weil Center. For those of you who are already members, subscribers of our organization, you know who and what we are. But for those of you who never had the opportunity, you're in for a treat of the lifetime. We are going to introduce our new season for our next 92nd season today for the first time. And I've got three board members with me. Tippy Young, who is in charge of our programming, Arletta, who is our honorary grandmother, and Susan, who's the postmistress. And she's also the one that you're going to send your memberships in to. So what we're going to begin with is the fall season. We do 6 professional programs at the Weil Center over the course of the year. We are a private club, if you will, in that we don't have to pay taxes on our memberships. We don't sell individual tickets to our concerts. The only way you get in is to buy the season, which you're going to be startled to find out how inexpensive it is, and that is our strongest suit of all. We're in an absolutely glorious setting, beautiful acoustics, talent rising, some of it literally just off the television set, and then people who are graduates of Juilliard and places like that. My favorite comment at the end of most programs, but especially the first concert of the season, is to watch our membership walk out the door and say, we've already gotten our money's worth. So you're entitled to a bargain, and this is the bargain that it's going to be. Tippy is going to introduce our fall season. That's 3 productions over the autumn, and she's going to tell us who they are.
Well, fall will go from September to October to November, and we'll open the season on September 16th with the Letterman. I'm old enough to remember the Letterman and how much I enjoyed them and loved them, and you'll find that they are still singing the same romantic songs, 3 gentlemen with marvelous lush harmony. When we saw the little clip that from which we make our selections, it was very persuasive, so I know that our audience is going to enjoy seeing the Letterman again. I think they're well known, and you will enjoy the sound that you get from this little group of 3. I believe they're traveling with a backup band, aren't they, Benny?
Yes, yes.
And they'll be wonderful. You will enjoy it, and chances are you'll probably tap your feet and sing along. They're phenomenal. We swing from September to October to the stars of the Peking Acrobats. And this is a group of 10. And I remember from way, way back when the word acrobat came up, everybody would say, oh, they're all double jointed. I don't think there is such a thing as double jointed. I just think it's extremely phenomenal flexibility. But these 10 stars will do things that make you wonder about their joints. They are extraordinary to watch, and they will be doing amazing things, feats that we hope you don't try at home, but which are all extraordinary to watch. And as I said, there are 10 of them. And we're fortunate to be able to present a group like this. There is another group that's touring now and appearing in some of the major cities. But you're going to have the opportunity to see this group right here in Sheboygan at the Weil Center. So I think you will enjoy it very much. This would be a great one for young people to see. And I think they would benefit from an opportunity to see what you can do with your well-honed body other than play football or basketball. And not that there's anything wrong with playing sports, that's great. And these people are all very probably capable athletes on their own, but they're trained as acrobats. And I'm always amazed at what other people can do with their bodies. They've got the same parts I've got, but they do amazing, amazing things with them.
And they will occupy the whole stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole stage.
10 people will fill the stage, and they don't stand still, obviously.
No.
They'll be moving around a great deal, and you will enjoy it. The third one is in November 19th, and called America's Sweethearts. And they are a group that follow the style of the Andrews Sisters. Now, that's very close to my heart. That's my maiden name, but I had nothing to do with it. But it's 3 women, and they have that same lovely harmony and wonderful sound that you have to be maybe been around a while to remember the Andrews Sisters, but they were very popular and very much admired, as they still are.
And the precursors to our cordettes.
Yes, right. And we all know how much we've enjoyed the cordettes over the years, many years. But the Andrews Sisters, according to the information that I was given, the Andrews Sisters, they used a term, "Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me." That's a song that we all know, and that's where it got started. So that's our fall, September, October, November plunge into the season.
It is, and I'll tell you, one of the things that our audiences like best is familiarity. They like to know the music that they're hearing. They're not adverse to original compositions, but there's a sigh of recognition, this little ripple that goes through the auditorium when the artists announce that they're going to be doing something familiar. And this is one of those concerts. This season is going to be different from the season that we're in that it's primarily vocal. Later on, I'll tell you how we select our programs, but let's go to Arletta and see what spring has to offer. We try to stay out of the cold winter months. We did have a concert this year on a Saturday night, which is rare for us. Normally our concerts are during the week. It's cheaper if we're not in the Weill Center on the weekend, but we felt strongly enough about the artists that were going to be here that night that we have them as part of our seasons. So we bit the bullet and we spent a little extra money. It was 2 young Chinese men that are being educated in Canada, and it was a violinist and a pianist. I can tell you, when they walked into the theater, the violinist pulled out his camera, his telephone, and started taking pictures of the place, because more often than not, they came to us from Beaver Dam, and they were in Toma the night before that. So they were quite startled. The pianist sat down at that Steinway piano, that concert grand that they have at the Weill Center, and he started playing. We had to evict him from the theater so that we could open the house and allow our people to sit. It was a cold winter's night, and it was a Saturday night, and I would say that 4/5 of our membership were there, and people walking out. It was a evening of just violin and piano music, but the thing is, it was so soothing, it was so interesting. I'll tell you about another concert that we did this last season that engendered a whole lot of comment from people that didn't expect it to be what it was going to be.
But that concert was worth the price.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that concert was. And it was an accordion concert, except it was a custom-built accordion. And
Could make any sound you wanted.
any sound you wanted, and they did. And people walked out, and again, more than our money's worth, and more than I expected it to be. Someone from one of the competing concert organizations asked me, what do you use as a judge for an evening well spent at in a concert hall or ever? And I said, if it's the dead of winter, that I'm glad I actually left home to go hear it, because there's nothing worse than on a winter's night to go out and wish you had stayed home. So Arletta, tell us about spring.
Well, yes, Bernie gave me spring, the first concert being February 4th.
Yes.
And this is February. And so in February 4th, which is really not spring, we're going to have a young man from New Zealand. He's a crooner pianist with bass and drums. And he's going to do Broadway, swing, favorite pop standards and a bit of rock and roll too.
A
So
marvelous
pretty much.
voice.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
And really spanning all kinds of music. And this is just two people, right?
Yes. Yes. There might be
No,
a small
four,
combo.
four.
Yeah, there's a small combo with him. But the thing is that Tippy had mentioned about a videotape. You're going to see what we saw and how
Yes.
we picked these people out. At the end of this program, you're going to see all 6 of these people with a capsule of what they're going to do for you if you're smart enough to buy the ticket.
Right. So anyhow, this is a singer who plays the piano, and he has a bass and drums with him, which sounds so simple. But when you see the clip, you'll be amazed at what he can do
Exactly.
with all of that. And I think it's so interesting, too, that he doesn't do just one era of music, but just crosses over and does all kinds of different favorites. You'll recognize almost everything that he does. I
Exactly.
think. Right. Okay, so that's February. Still spring, well, actually March is spring, but this one happens to be March 4th. And this one I do remember, because I remember this clip because it was so funny. I laughed and laughed and laughed. It's called Duo Baldo. And it's a trio of a violin and piano. And it says here they do light classical music. And they do, but they do it in a comedic manner. It's so funny. I just laughed so hard I just about choked. They're based in Italy, and some of their speech sounds Italiano, you know, but they're funny. They're just really funny. Plus, they're very talented musicians too. So, and that helps. That helps a lot. And it's just the 2 of them, right, Bernie?
Right.
Wow, just 2. Okay, then we close the season with one of my favorites, and I'm probably going to pronounce this incorrectly. Veritas?
Veritas.
Oh, I did it right, Veritas. And it's a male quintet, and they're very easy to look at, and they're very easy to listen to. Now, when you have, did I say quartet? It's a quintet. It's 5 of them. So when you have 5 gentlemen, you don't necessarily have 5 people singing at once. I mean, sometimes you do. But then when you have 5, you can break up into duets or trios or a quartet or some solos. So it's not at all, you think, oh, a boring night, 5 guys singing. No, no, no. No, they break up and they have things to say and they sing different kinds of music. So that I'm really, of the 6, I think I'm really looking forward to that one. Like I said, not only hearing them, but they're very nice to look at too. So that's the spring season.
Good. Now, the most important part. Susan is going to tell you how you can become a member of the Sheboygan Concert Association. Susan?
Okay, I'm hoping that our season selections have really piqued your interest. And what we're going to do this year is that instead of having you stand in line and pick up an envelope, we're going to mail everything out to you. And it will be mailed out as of March 26th. So that is before our next 2 concerts. So I would like it that if you want to bring it to, a concert and just drop it off, I'm willing to take it that way. Otherwise, you can mail it to me. Early bird specials are going to start at $72 per adult, $32 for a student, and $166 per family. And that just depends on how many people in the family that you have. It will still be $166.
So that's $72 for 6 concerts, not just 1 concert.
Right.
For all 6
All
concerts.
6 concerts, and it includes the Weill Center's historic preservation fee.
Right. Can you even believe that?
You can barely go to the movie for
I know.
that.
The 6 I know. The 6 concerts that we have talked about would cost $72.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's for all, and we will be early bird until May 7th. And after May 7th, then the cost will go up to $77 for adult, $32 for the student. It still stays the same for them, and $171 for the family.
And that's subject to availability.
Right. We did have a season where we were actually completely sold out. We almost were sold out this past year, so get your tickets in early because it is a first come, first served basis. So as Arletta said, you know, it does include the Stephanie Weil Preservation Fund. I would also like to mention the donations that we received this past year. They were absolutely phenomenal. It helped us to be able to do another concert. So instead of doing the 5, we were able again to do that 6. And it also helped us to provide that high level of quality that you've been used to over the years.
I think it's also interesting. I've never, ever admitted this in public before.
Oh, and now you're going to realize.
And now the day I'm going to bare the soul. We are spending approximately $48,000 on talent this year. And this is not unusual for us. We spend anywhere from, I would say, $38,000. In the past, it's been $42,000 and all that business. It's based on what we have seen. And the monies that come in over and above the subscription prices help make that happen because there's still expenses with the Weil Center. We have to pay rental on the auditorium. There are people there that are employees that we're also responsible for contributing their fees involved with them. And so most important of all, there is nothing that we pay for. Our board serves as volunteers. We've got chairman of various committees, Tippy in charge of finding the talent.
With a lot of help.
With a lot of help, yes. And the whole board can come to that meeting when we're actually doing the selection process. But there's a sound manager, there's somebody that does the lights, there's a manager of the Weil Center that has to be there for security purposes and things like that. So, you know, we're very careful with our money, but that extra money that comes in goes for the extra concert. And, you know, we have postage. That's the cost of doing business.
You mentioned the extra money. It's all voluntary.
Yes.
We don't have a big campaign asking people for funding. We just suggest that if they'd like to make an extra contribution, please do so.
Yeah.
And they do. They respond entirely voluntarily.
Yeah. And we are very frugal. We have practically no overhead. What, postage and envelopes, that's about it.
Well, that's about it.
Plus the concert expenses.
And so you can do donations, you know, directly, or you can use Thrivent funds.
Right.
And that is also a way of being able to do that. We feel that these donations show how much you appreciate the Sheboygan Concert Association and that you want it to continue a long way into the future.
That's true.
And you know, things have changed with the newspaper. So years ago, the newspaper used to review our concerts. The newspaper used to say who was coming and stuff like that. That doesn't happen anymore. We put a couple ads in some of the smaller neighborhood newspapers, and that gives you another opportunity to see what's available to you and where to send your money and stuff like that. If you're not a member, those ads will be in the Beacon and in the Sun, and they will get to Susan. We also do not have reserved seats, but that doesn't seem to be a problem because they're all full. People are so grateful. And, you know, it's a concert. So, you know, other than the acrobats or stuff like that, when there's stuff to see, there's not much to look at. The balcony seats.
I think there is. I think it's wonderful to watch a violinist move like he does and watch a pianist. You've got to keep your eyes open.
Oh, you're so cultured.
And
So
that
cultured.
male
See,
quintet.
that's why I've got these ladies with me. Movement. You know, the thing is, if you want to see what Old Town Sheboygan used to look like, watch our audience leave at the end of the evening. It's the busiest 8th Street is in the course of the whole year 6 times over, and then 15 minutes, it's all gone. They're all gone.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful way to spend an evening. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. Like I say, we've had a really good season so far, and tell your friends.
Yes.
But when we hit, you know, our top level, we're going to have to say, sorry, we can't do it anymore this year. And it is so nice to see those numbers increasing and not decreasing. So please get your money in quickly if you would like to get a season membership.
Very good, thank you. Now, about the selection process. David Folan, our artist representative from Allied Concert in Minneapolis, comes to us, and he's got not only a schedule of when these artists are going to be as far as a timetable, early fall, late fall, winter, early spring, late spring. So we've got that to choose from, but he's also got these little video clips. And I tell every single one of our artists that they were selected on the basis of that video clip. So what you're going to see now are the 6 clips of the 6 artists that we've got coming next season.
That we saw.
That we saw. And so for that reason, there are things that, there's a formula that he has that works out. There's no arguing. Everyone is happy at the end of that meeting because we have a season which we picked last October. And so I think we're one of his first customers that selects their season. And so by the time they get finished booking other concert seasons for other groups, then they put the itinerary together for these various artists that have been selected. They're absolutely phenomenal. And the thing is that he and his brother, they go to these various talent things in New York City and wherever, and that's how they find the new artists. And on occasion, we've had our audiences say, bring this concert back. We'd like to see them again. And we do, but we can't do it all that fast because we're always working 2 years in advance. Right. So we'll be back next year, God willing, and the creek don't rise, right? And we want to thank you for your attention and for your support of the Sheboygan Concert Association at the Weill Center 6 times in the next year, the 21-22 season. Thank you very much.
Shane, you've heard it all before, but let me try to explain. Choo-choo to Broadway, Foo, Cincinnati. Don't get achy with the 1, 2, 3. Life is just so fine on the solid side of the line. Blip. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Foodie Akazaki wants some seafood, mama. Shrimpers and rice, they're very nice. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Now hear my little Tico Tico calling, because the time is right, the shades of night are falling. I love that not so cuckoo cuckoo in the clock. Tico 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 tock.
Tu fossi nella Ta-da!